to kind of warm up this Marth, and I'm curious to see. The tricky thing about 2-day tournaments is that like how you were doing the first day might not be how you're doing the second day, but already we're off to kind of
Absolutely.
quite an explosive start.
Yeah, and Yoshi's story, the pick for game one. You have any thoughts about that? As Ginger probably wraps up this first stock in a hurry.
Yeah, it's tricky. There's a lot of kind of pros and cons to this stage. I think generally speaking, people would call it Marth favored nowadays, just because of the platform follow-ups that Marth has available to him. But if you like a more scrappy game, you might enjoy Yoshi's more as a Falco player. And there are some pretty powerful follow-ups off the top, given the low ceiling.
Oh my gosh, did he do a quick wall jump turnaround on that too? That was insane. Ginger just showing that he's pretty down to scrap, I guess, to answer your question there.
Yeah, this is, again, it makes sense, like counterpicking to Yoshi's means you're ready to be in the face of Marth, and so much of this matchup is about playing around that like space of Marth, because Marth is a character that when he commits to a move, he is hard committing, but because he has such a huge sword, he can kind of safely move around it. So Falco is constantly trying to get in his face, in that space, and punish as hard as he can.
He's dead.
It's gonna be a stock, I think.
Now, oh, no counter.
Though. Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I wanted to comment. I feel like Axe has been kind of the trademark thing that I've been seeing out of Axe in terms of the sets that we saw yesterday as well, is that drop zone fair. And he caught Ginger off guard right there. Double jab, not quite enough to get there. Ginger snaps to the ledge, and now it's his turn to get the punish.
Already a solid 64%. One of the things we definitely want to be watching out for is how Axe chooses to mix up his recovery off the stage. Marth, kind of a tricky character to edgeguard as Falco, but Falco just needs to kind of really hard call out an option, and Marth needs to be kind of creative with how he uses those side Bs, those jumps, that kind of thing. So going to be a big part of the matchup, but already Ginger opening them up and maybe going to take the stock.
Yeah, and the laser there, unfortunately, bringing Axe from 67 to 70%, so doesn't quite get the percent magic power-up that he needed in order to take that stock. But we'll see if he can get it here. Kind of traps Ginger on top platform, but it's not quite enough, and we're kind of back to neutral at this point.
Yeah, right now, Ginger does have stage positioning, but, anytime he's above a platform against Marth, always tricky, particularly on Yoshi Story platforms, because they're a lot smaller. It allows you to kind of react to things more easily, cover more space. But this is looking very firmly in Ginger's control right now.
No jump, I believe, as well. Yeah, just gets there. Ginger 2 stock, 1-0 on the set. Axe down, Axe's counter pick. Is it going to be a stage counter pick? Is it going to be a character counter pick? What kind of prize are we grabbing out of this bag here? Because it really just feels like there's a huge question mark on what this guy is going to be doing in this tournament.
I completely agree. There's a possibility that he could bust out his Falco. That is probably, if we had to say, his most capable secondary is probably his Falco. For a long time, that was the character he had more hours in than Pikachu, if you can believe that. So that's an option, but Marth, again, I'd say probably has the edge in the matchup just generally, and something like FD is a classic, powerful counter pick against Falco.
Counter picks going to be Battlefield, though, so you got to wonder if this is going to indicate a character switch.
Yeah, it's tricky. I don't know, because even the thing is Falco generally like a bit stronger of a character on FD. The laser spacing, it can be a bit of a preference thing, and it's not surprising to see someone who's not really a Marth main, might not be as confident in his chain grabs, opting not to go to that stage.
Sure. A bit more evenly keeled in the first 10 seconds of this match, as in Axe hasn't died yet. So we'll see if that translates over to another game victory for Ginger, or one where Axe can get on the board here.
No, absolutely. And again, I say this all the time, but it is such a huge part of the matchup. I really want to see the kinds of laser interactions we're, gonna look for throughout the matchup. A big part of it is, we've seen Axe's Marth not being a very power shield heavy Marth, which kind of makes sense. It's not his main, it's not something he focuses on as much. So we want to look at what tools that he uses to counter lasers. Things like an immediate fair after getting hit by a laser is a very, very strong tool in this matchup. It's something that Ginger needs to watch out for if he starts using it.
And Axe is just moving all over the place. Actually misses the turnaround on the shield breaker, but it didn't really matter. Still completes the punish either way. Almost a full stock advantage over to Axe's Marth. And I just wanted to comment, he's making very liberal use of Nair. I feel like that's kind of his option of choice when it comes to combating Ginger's defense and getting around these lasers.
beautiful umps attack. Oh my god, and Ginger just SD.
What?
Yeah, you know, shocked at Axe's defensive abilities, and there we see the first power shield of the set, as far as I'm aware. But yeah, he really loves the Nair. Not really a huge surprise. It is one of the hardest moves in the game to punish, I would say. Just a very, very strong tool with that auto cancel. But you know, Ginger taking a stock, starting to make it a little bit more respectable, putting Axe on the back foot once again.
Yeah, still advantage going over to Axe right now, but Ginger's laying on the pressure thick, and we're gonna see if he can maybe convert that into a stock. We're back to neutral right now, and Ginger kind of in a precarious position, just battles his way out of the corner.
Oh, for sure. Another reason why we might be seeing Axe go for that down tilt, the Nair a bit more regularly, is because down tilt, which is one of Marth's kind of like most staple tools in most matchups, isn't as good in this matchup. You know, not counting the edge guarding stuff, it's often covers an angle that Falco isn't approaching at. Really good awareness to go for the fair there, by the way.
Yeah, catches Ginger a bit unaware, is going for the ledge refresh a bit lazily there. Axe up a whole 2 stocks right now, and then some with some of this percent.
Oh, he goes for the counter off the ledge. Really, really creative ledge option. And goes for counter again, but doesn't end up working out.
Yeah, it feels like Axe is kind of catching on a little bit to how Ginger wants to handle his approaches and everything like that. You know, more than one counter over the span of this single game, just hard callouts on some of Ginger's offense here. And he's got room to play around, figure out kind of what his laser approaches are going to be, how he wants to handle the disadvantage state.
No, for sure. I just can't get over how many Nairs that Axe has been using. It's just clearly, like you said, he exactly, like if we could have a Slippy stat, it'd be insane, because he has just been busting out Nair any chance he gets. Not a huge surprise though, because it is a very, very powerful tool in the matchup. You know, if Falco goes to kind of attack off a laser and you correctly time your Nair, enters you in a tech chase situation, you can start getting a really huge follow-up, even the stock. So sometimes it's okay to rely on a single move if it's an amazing move.
Yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And Tempo Storm putting that one to work. 1-1, even on the set. Ginger's counter pick here, moving into game 3. What do you think we're going to see, Radar?
Well, yeah, you know, it's tricky. The classical stuff would be probably not FD, probably not Pokemon Stadium. The fact that he went to, oh, of course, Dreamland. Yeah, Dreamland, not really a surprise. I don't know why I wasn't thinking of it beforehand. One of the main reasons to struggle for Marth, at least like classically speaking, is the platform size and height makes it so that some of the follow-ups that he would have on a stage like Yoshi's aren't really possible on this stage, but the space is something that a lot of Marths do like, so I wouldn't say the stage is that bad either.
Wow, such good awareness, and doesn't get the back air, so that's actually going to spell death for Axe. First blood going over to Ginger. Really good awareness on that entire situation. Ginger actually gets a slight push off on Axe to be able to get the drop zone shine, and then converts that into the entire first stock. Amazing stuff.
Oh, I love his decision to actually land on the platform rather than just kind of stay under and shark there. Manages to get way more percent and should get this edge guard. Yeah, does call out this beat to the ledge. And we got an even game.
Axe looks for drop zone fair. Doesn't really matter what aerial he was going to go for. Ginger probably well aware that he needs to hold down and not get involved with any type of juggling mechanics out of the Marth. But these two are just going back and forth right now, and Ginger getting hit with that peeled back Nair from Axe. Ever present with the tool.
Controller maybe not making him face the right direction, was shooting multiple lasers in the wrong direction. Of course,
yeah,
not.
I've been noticing that.
Yeah, you know, it's tricky. Controllers and Falco kind of are like,
oh my
mainly
God,
in general, the game
ledge.
controller matters a lot, but in particular Falco, you know, things like snapback can be a big deal, both horizontal and vertical snapback. So hope that's not a factor here.
Spare again, and Ginger's gonna fall, tumble down to his death. Bit of a interesting play over on the right ledge here, and it will continue as Ginger trades the stock back. 2-2, 13% deficit separating these two players.
I do like the choice there to go for the crouch. I know Ginger was actually using that same option on the Yoshi's game, and Axe correctly calling it out with a down air, but at this in this specific situation, he was at 0, so he kind of baited Axe into thinking, hey, use your anti-crouch cancel tech on me, but it won't work at exactly 0, so I'll get a free open, and does get the kill because of it.
Here we go, not quite there on the forward tilt, but gets to reset again and acts with the power shield fair.
That was a fantastic tech. I really liked seeing from Ginger the choice to go for the forward throw. That is something that if you follow kind of Ginger as a player, he has advocated for time and time again as kind of a better alternative to the up throw from Falco in a lot of situations. And, you know, seeing him combo it there really shows us why.
Okay, that might have been a miscue. Maybe he was looking for power shield into first hit Dancing Blade would be my guess. But I don't, or maybe he was just expecting some type of insane offense out of Ginger off of the counter hit. But doesn't really matter here. Ginger's going to make this a one-stock game. These guys are playing real close.
Yeah, you know, 50%, kind of a big deal. If he can get an up throw, it could easily lead to an F smash. And now 69, Axe's favorite percent, and already he gets an open up just because of that. But 14%, I'm counting percents way too much. What matters actually more than anything is the stage positioning. And Ginger, once again, regaining control.
Ooh, gets put into tumble actually off of that. Doesn't hit the slide off. Could have been really, really bad, and Ginger's putting him on the nair plane.
Yeah, did look like Axe SDI'd away to get to ledge there on the second nair because, oh, geez, Ginger barely alive there. Otherwise, that definitely would have comboed.
2-1. Set point for the Arizona Pikachu player playing something a little bit different today.
Yeah, you know, we've mentioned this before, but like, it's funny that he's opting not to go. Obviously, we have a month away from Summit, but Axe is a player that hasn't been as active in the kind of online era. Might be worth it to kind of get that Pikachu back in shape. But of course, he's been playing, he's been streaming all the time, more than capable, and it's really cool to pushing Ginger this hard with his secondaries. You know, makes me feel very excited for Smash Summit in the coming months to see how his Pikachu kind of makes a return to CRT.
Yeah, return to Dreamland here for Game 4. Not that out of the ordinary for the Falco player, but Axe is just all over it when it comes to this. Doesn't get the third tech in a row, but he still has pressure.
That's one of those weird situations where when Marth grabs you there, you kind of have to tech in to some degree. If you tech in place, or you obviously can't tech away, it just takes too long. If you tech in place and they F smash it, you know, you're basically dead. So you're sort of forced to do it, but at a certain point, if you keep doing it, they rack up damage like that. It's one of the many situations in this matchup where like Marth kind of has just sort of a bit of an innate advantage. But once Falco can get in on him, things start to even up, and really it's all about the mix-ups in terms of the neutral on Falco's end.
Yeah, and this is getting really, really tough. Ginger's going to even it up right here, but he's at a percent right now where kind of a lot of Marth's common neutral openers are going to convert into big damage. Let's see if it comes to anything. Maybe a miscue on that F smash, or was expecting perhaps a slide off, but doesn't quite get there and still maintains advantage nonetheless.
Yeah, just barely manages to miss that. Once again, doesn't go for the counter. It doesn't seem like an option that Axe kind of likes.
It's
like,
a neutral option, man, if you're Axe.
Yeah, actually, that's true. I would love to see a statistic of how many times Axe has used counter in neutral compared to how many times he's used it off
No
stage.
jump,
Like,
he's
this
dead.
is the situation where you'd see a counter normally, and he just doesn't go for it once again.
Yeah, a couple times here where it's just a sure kill. I feel like if we see a lot of other, you know, standard Marth players by the book, but Axe kind of fumbling the bag a little bit. Missing two basically gimmies over the span of this entire set so far, but I think it comes into play when you're kind of an unorthodox level Marth player like him.
Absolutely, and it's not like counter has no counterplay, no pun intended. You can kind of angle it to get around it. There are also, if you have like godlike SDI, could even SDI in and tech it, but it's just such a reliable option that so often resets the edge guard and allows you to kind of follow up with a forward air or something off stage. So I would like to see Axe use it a bit more.
As we speak right now, Ginger on his winner's bracket stock again for the third game in a row. Going to even this one up to a one-stock game. Quite competitive, but I mean, Axe has been the one pulling it out over these last few.
Really, really beautiful punish sequence so far. 72%, but gets the grab, and all that momentum just suddenly goes away on Ginger's end. Ooh, right back to neutral. It's just so scary there. That's perfect percents to get opened up.
Big back air, maintains jump though, so has the mix up on the recovery. Oh, gets the back air this time, but it's close. He's got to die for it. No.
you know, it's debatable whether that DI there on the down air was good or not. You know, if you DI in, usually that sets up a double down air to edge guard. But at that percent, you know, he's so high that maybe a DI in would have been better. It knocked him so far off stage and kind of reset it. But looked good to me. Kept him alive certainly on the other hits. And yeah, definitely impressive.
Yeah, really, really impressive turnaround from Ginger, kind of pulling that one back in a situation that looked a little bit familiar over the last 2 games, kind of playing on the back foot, evening it back up to a one-stock game, and then barely not getting there for 2 games straight. Ginger brings this to a game 5. And let's see. I mean, I'm assuming we're going to see the Marth still, but it's much more back and forth.
I think this late into the set, if Axe changes off Marth, he is insane. Like, unless he's literally playing Pikachu, and even then it seems kind of insane. Just because, you know, once you're so comfortable with the character, you've got kind of the warm up. It's really hard to switch mid set, and of course he said he's going secondaries for this. Just want to point out the skin for this really, really looks cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, huge shout outs to Daladex, I believe his name is, for all the incredible stage textures that you're seeing over here at this tournament. But in any case, game 5 radar. X versus Ginger. Even percents right now, but really bad spot for Ginger to be in, and makes it out with a dare.
Yeah, he might have SDI'd up to get out of that up throw sequence. Usually a very, very reliable punish for Marth, but really beautiful slide off the Nair too. Starting to adapt to Axe's Nair spam, for lack of a better word, in this matchup.
Yeah, and Axe just gives Ginger all the time in the world to reset after the Phantasm. Ginger gonna convert that into first stock of game 5. That could be a good omen for the rest of this game. You know, he's been playing kind of behind in terms of stocks for the last 3. Maybe this is what he needs to get the ball rolling.
No, for sure. I think it's really a good sign that when we saw Ginger go for that edge guard, he very, very confidently rushed to edge. Sometimes it can be scary to kind of try to compete with Marth towards the edge because it can set up reversals. And when you see a player just go right for it, get the stock, it means they are not afraid to take risks. They're not afraid to kind of push their advantage in a matchup. And it's just a really good sign that Ginger's feeling comfortable here.
Yeah, and as we speak, Axe kind of finding a new tool that he wanted to use, discovering new things about this character every day. He went for about 3 or 4 Dolphin Slashes as offensive options in a row, either out of shield or just as a link from a throw. Really interesting choices as he'll fall 2 stocks down against Ginger. This is a huge lead.
I do want to give a shout out to SFAT in the chat mentioning that Axe is spamming Nair as a Pikachu main, one of Pikachu's best moves. Not surprising to see him adapt one of Marth's best moves, particularly in this matchup. It kind of is a fun overlap. It's always cool to see how people play secondaries, but a bit of their character still shines through.
Oh yeah, no, my bad habit is that if I play Fox, I'll just down smash in neutral, and it's really bad. In any case, though, Axe coming back, trying to fight his way back from the corner, not quite able to do it, and Ginger just a stonewall right now. Gonna make this a 2-stock game, potentially?
Ooh, does get the up air through, misses the SDI. Really, really, really good kind of corner control from Ginger, just making it really hard for Axe to kind of get off the ledge. And, you know, he has a 3-stock to 1 lead right now. That is very, very impressive.
Yeah, Ginger's just turning it up right now. Axe is gonna need to find some openings here to get the ball rolling, but Ginger's just completely smothering him.
And, you know, we are once again seeing Ginger's game plan of committing to center, committing to stage control, not getting an opening and trying to push for, like, say, tech in place there, just waiting for the roll. And if he doesn't get it, whatever, he's still got center. And it's really working out for him. It's
waits for the shield. That was so smart. The patience on Axe right now. Are we going to see a similar turnaround to his set versus John Wick?
You know, does still have that stock to play with. Whenever you're against Marth, it's kind of like when you're against Puff, where if you have a stock lead, you're like, okay, whatever, it's fine. If I die, I still can come back. But once you're at 0 versus Marth, you know, you get grabbed, you get down thrown, it starts to get a little scary. So as long as you can keep this lead, if you're a Ginger fan, you're feeling pretty good.
Big reverse Dolphin Slash, Shades of Mewtwo King coming through. Is this going to be what he needs? I don't think Axe is a ledge player, but he's going to try to win it the honest way.
Again, I just want to point out, Axe is partly power shielded like 3 times, but Ginger does take it, manages to close it out really, really, really good. Again, I just really like Ginger's commitment to his game plan. Focusing on that corner pressure, not giving Marth anything for free. That's how you swing it away from your favorite. But taking Ginger to game 5 with his secondary, very, very impressive stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I would almost go as far to say that Axe kind of low-key threw game 4 in that situation. I think he had it was his game to lose there. Ginger kind of pulled the bunny out of a hat, made it work out, and then just absolutely took that momentum and ran with it for game 5.
Yeah, no, it's always hard because I think when you're playing a secondary, it's sort of like wearing a pair of shoes that are just one size too big, you know? Like you're kind of sometimes you get into a situation, you step one way and you're just like, "Oh, I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. This feels a little weird." And I think some of that hesitation might be from if Axe was a Marth main, if he was kind of regularly using Marth